Hi everyone. In this next video I'll be going over our next topic for this week. According to our syllabus we are on week 11, November 9th, and we're going over surveyor units and road layouts. However, I would like to switch these two topics just because this one has more relevancy to your drawing and reading the contours. So I just want to go over blocks and external references first so that you understand that before getting into the other topics and eventually your other projects. So don't get confused by the syllabus. We're going to go over blocks and external references today. So I'm just going to go to my AutoCAD file. We're going to give you a brief rundown of what XREFs are and what blocks are. So an external reference, or an XREF, is just a fancy AutoCAD term for a document that you attach to another drawing. So when you XREF a file into your drawing, you are doing the digital equivalent of what drafters and architects and engineers used to do back in the day when you lay a piece of tracing paper, which is your drawing, over an existing site plan, planting plan, or any other document that you need as a basis for your new drawing. So that's basically what an XREF is. It's inserting a base drawing into your working file and then allowing you to make changes in your working file without affecting the original base drawing or your XREF. So changes made to the actual reference drawing that you bring into your working drawing are automatically reflected in your current drawing whenever it's saved, whenever it's reloaded, or whenever a change is made to that one drawing. It's going to appear in your drawing as well. So by using these reference drawings, you can coordinate your work with the works of others by referencing other drawings into your own, and then it allows you to keep up with the changes being made by the other designers. So there's one big working file, and let's say someone makes a change to the actual file, it'll appear on your drawing if you have it XREF'd within your one drawing. And I'll show you examples of what that is in case you aren't really understanding it now. But basically you can also assemble a master drawing for the components, the component drawings that will change as a project develops. So that's more of like in the field when you get into an engineering firm, a contracting firm, and other firms like that. So by using reference drawings, you can also ensure that the most recent version of that reference drawing is displayed. So when you open your own drawing, each reference drawing that is in your drawing is automatically reloaded, so it reflects the latest state of that reference drawing file. Reference drawings also allow you to keep the names of layers, dimensioning styles, textiles, and other named elements within that within your own drawing, separate from those that are in the reference drawing. So then a note is any external reference that can be a drawing file, so another DWG AutoCAD drawing. It could be an actual image, JPEG, PNG. It can also be a PDF or other types of drawings. But typically when you insert or attach an XREF, it's specifically a DWG AutoCAD file, especially if you're out in the field working at an engineering firm, architectural firm, or contracting firm, or anything like that. You would use like DWGs or PDFs sometimes, but mostly DWGs. So let me just show you an example of what that XREF would look like. So right now I'm in my own drawing number 1. There's nothing in it besides this little text here. Let me delete that so I can show you how to actually XREF a file in. So there's nothing in here. What I'm going to do is bring in an XREF file. So I'm going to use the command XREF, and I'm going to attach a drawing. Let's say I'm going to attach the homework number 6 example that I gave you guys for the last week's assignment. So I'm going to type in XREF, and it'll be this first icon here. It looks like a little clipboard. So then enter, and then you should have a window here, an XREF window that pops up. So I already had the XREF here, but I'm just going to walk you through how to actually attach it before I show you the other commands that go with it. So when this XREF window pops up, you're going to see your drawing here with a little AutoCAD symbol that's like a blue and yellow little piece of paper. So this is your drawing. It's going to show you the status, the size, type, date of any other external references that you attach, or other images and stuff like that. But for right now, your drawing is here, it's the current drawing, and it's opened. In order to attach another drawing, you're going to go to this symbol up here. It looks like a little paper with a DWG and a little paper clip. So you're going to click on that, and then this window will pop up, and it's going to allow you to search your computer for any drawing, AutoCAD drawing, or any PDF or PNG, JPEG that you want to attach into this working file. So I'm just going to attach the homework number 6 example that I gave you guys for the last assignment. I'm going to attach that drawing and bring it into this one. So I'm going to select it. It's going to give you a little preview, and you're going to click open. Once you click open, this attach reference, external reference window is going to pop up, and basically it's going to give you the name, which is the name that you actually named your file. And then this little browse button over here is basically if you want to change the XREF that you attach. Maybe you attached the wrong one, you can just click browse and go back to your computer and just find the file again, and you can select a new file. This preview window here is just going to show you what's in that actual file that you're attaching. So here's just the file that I'm going to open. It's the one from the last assignment. And then over here are the insertion properties that will come when you want to attach this file. So the first one is scale. It's going to ask you for the scale. Let's say if you want to change the overall size of this drawing within your AutoCAD working file. I would recommend not changing this one unless you actually want to make it like a super small drawing, not to scale. But if you want to maintain the actual scale of the drawing that you made previously, so remember this was an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. If you want it to come in as an 8.5 by 11 paper in this drawing, you're not going to click on scale, or you're not going to change any of these options here. So I would recommend not touching these if you want to keep and maintain the scale of the original drawing. Other than that, if you do want to actually change, let's say in the future in other projects, you can actually change the scale here, and that's what these options are. The next one is insertion point. This one is going to be where you want it to actually land within your drawing here. So if you want to physically and control where you want it to be on your screen, you would select this one, the specify on screen point. You would make sure that it's checked. That way you would have more control, and if you want it to be in a certain location, you can drag it and click it there. If you don't care where it's going to be on the screen, or if you just want it to pop up in a certain location manually, you can actually go back and uncheck that and change your coordinates here. You can actually put, like if you wanted 10 units across in the X dimension, you can write in 10. The same thing with Y. But for right now, I'm just going to click specify on screen so I can show you what that will look like. The same thing with rotation. If you would actually want it to come in 90 degrees, you can specify it on the screen, or you can change the angle here. So specifying on the screen just gives you a little bit more control, and it'll give you a preview of what you want it to look like and where you want it to be when you close out of this window. If you already know the angle that you want, you just put it here, and it's not going to allow you to like view that rotation before you close this box. So the reference type is an attachment because we're attaching it to this file, so just make sure that one's attached, and then you can click OK. So now you can see over here in the background in the model space, you can see that I'm dragging, and it says to specify your insertion point. So because we had that checked on that previous window, it's going to allow us to specify where we want to insert it. If we didn't have that checked and we had just 0, 0, 0, it's going to automatically just default to the 0, 0 of your model space. So it's not going to land where you want it to be. It's going to just go to the origin unless you actually manually put in the coordinates that you wanted. But for right now, you can see that I can specify wherever I want it to be, and so I'm just going to put it here. Once I click out of it, so I clicked it to insert it, you can see that it looks a little bit dull. It's not too vibrant with the red color, the greens. It looks a little bit dull and like it's locked. But that is what an XREF is. It's just an underlay attachment for you then to just go. So if I draw on top of it, it's going to show a little bit more vibrant the colors. So that's going to allow you to differentiate between your XREF and your actual drawing working file that you are in currently. So Actually, let me just drag this and make this a little bit bigger. So then once you insert your XREF, you can see that your drawing file that you inserted appears within this XREF window. So it's going to give you the title of your drawing, which is on my computer is homework number 6 example. Your status of that XREF is loaded. That means that it's loaded within your drawing. The size of the drawing, and it's going to give you the current, like the type of it. So it's an attachment, the date you attached it or you edited it. Also the saved path, wherever it is on your computer, in your documents folder. If it's in your pictures, and it's going to show, you know, your name / pictures. So wherever that is, you can actually look back and follow this path and actually go into your folders on your computer and find it that way. So then if I click on the actual XREF, it's going to highlight it in your model space, and that's just going to make it easier. Let's say you have multiple XREFs here and you actually want to just highlight that one. It's going to show you what it is on your model space. So if you right click after selecting your drawing, it's going to give you all these options, and these are the options that are going to affect only your XREF file. So here you can actually open. This one will open your actual file that you inserted. It's going to open it into another tab in your AutoCAD up here. So it opened it over here, but if I go back to my drawing, here it is here. This means that it's open in your AutoCAD file, but then it's showing here. Okay, so let me go back to this file. So here, if you want to make changes to the XREF within your one drawing, here, let's say you wanted to change this one dimension or something, I would have to open it. So what I just did, go to the original file, and basically I can make a change. So if I made that change and I clicked save or Control S on my computer, and then I go back to that one drawing that is attached to this file, this little window here is going to pop up, and it's going to say an external reference file has changed. That's giving you the pop-up because now it's in your file, but it's not accurate and it needs to be reloaded in order to show that one change that was made. So it also says if a reference file has changed and may need reloading. So in order to reload that, you can either press this blue underlined command, and then you can see it changed to that one change that I made in the original XREF attached drawing. And then it changed also in your status from needs to be reloaded, and it actually changed to loaded. So another way to reload the drawing, let's say I'm going to change it back, and I'm going to save it again. So that little pop-up's going to come up. You can click on there to reload it, but if it goes away somehow, you can actually go back to your window here, select it, right-click, and then just click reload. And so now it makes that change again, and it reloads it. So it's basically just updating any changes made on the original drawing within your actual drawing. So another settings here within if you right click it, is detach. So if you detach it, that means it's going to completely take out the once attached drawing here, and it's going to delete it from your file altogether. So now it's not there, and it actually deletes it from your external references window, and you don't see it here any longer. So I'm just going to undo that by doing Control Z, because I want to explain the difference between unloading and detaching. Let's say unloading is like you temporarily want to unload it so you don't see it. You would click that one, and it's going to go away for a little bit, but then it stays within your external reference window, and it just gives you the history of it. Right now it has a little X next to it because it's not in your file, and it gives you the little this little arrow that's saying it's unloaded. So if you want to ever bring it back, you just right click again, hit reload, and it brings it back to wherever you inserted it in the first place. So that's just a temporary way to toggle it on and off, to show to turn on your XREF and turn it off. Detaching it, however, is completely taking it out of your drawing. In case, like, let's say you attach the wrong file and you want to take it out, you would detach it. because if let's say I did upload the wrong one or attach it and I select it and I just hit delete, in your actual external reference window, it's going to give you the little yield sign on the drawing title, and it's going to say unreference. So whenever you open your AutoCAD file, it's going to bring that command up and it's going to say you have some unreferenced drawing within your AutoCAD file and it's missing, so you're going to have to link it back. It's just going to become a nuisance, and it's going to be a little bit confusing if it's a larger drawing with a bunch of other drawings attached to it. So if you ever want to delete an actual XREF, do not select it and delete it, because it's going to leave it here in your external references window. What you want to do is go to your external reference window by typing XREF and then right clicking and detaching it. That's going to take it out of your drawing completely. Okay? So I'm just going to undo that so I can show you the other options. So I'm going to right click, binding. This binding means that it's going to embed now this drawing into your actual working file right now, your drawing number 1. So it's basically going to combine them, and now it's going to just bring it in to this drawing, and you're going to be able to edit these, and it's no longer going to be linked to your other file, so your homework 6 example. So what I showed you before, where I made the change in that one file and then brought it in and reloaded it, the binding means that it's going to combine them all together. So I can hit bind type, and if I type in bind and OK, you see how it made it not dull anymore. Now it brings it back to the colors. Now if I have it here, it made it into like a block. So I can move it and actually edit all the individual objects if I explode it. So then now it's not referenced anymore. It's not an attachment, it's not a base drawing. So if I take something and let's say I delete this altogether and then save it, it's not going to affect this at all. It's not going to bring up your external reference bubble over here, and it's not showing that it needs to be reloaded here because you binded the drawing together. So now it's like within this one, and there's no longer a need for that XREF. So I'm just going to go back and undo these changes. I'm going to undo the bind. So now it's an XREF again. I just undid that bind command, and now it's the dull XREF. So now if I make a change to the original, it's going to show up the change here once I reload it. So let me show you the other commands. XREF type, it's going to ask you for the attach or overlay. Those were the two different types of XREF that you can bring in. Change path type, you can actually change the physical path of your XREF. So the path is this one, this little path. You can select a new path. Let's say you want to attach another drawing and you want to select a new path, or if this one drawing was a copy of another drawing that you made and you want to select that one other copy that you made, you would go back into your files and select that new drawing as your new path and click open, and it's going to update this one to that new path. Okay, and then find and replace. Let's say it does get unreferenced. Let's say I select and delete it by accident. It's going to become unreferenced. So you can go back, find and replace, and it's going to bring up this window, and it's going to ask you to replace it with a new file path. When you click these three little dots, it's going to ask you to go back and find that one path, and then you're going to replace it. So let me just undo that. Okay, so now that I walked you through here, let me just minimize that one. So we have the XREF now here. So if I make any changes, remember, to the original file and save it, it's going to bring it up in here. So this just becomes useful when you are doing working on a bigger project with other people, and let's say there is a floor plan that has like a change and they make that change to that central file and you want it to show up in your current file. It's just easier to work that way with larger people, where you reload your drawing and you can see the basic central file changes that were made. So let me just close this out so I can show you guys the other tools. So we have the XREF here. If I select it, up here in your ribbon, it's going to give you the external reference tab at the top, and it's going to give you these four different areas: edit, clipping, options, and touch. So this first one, edit reference in place, This is going to edit a block or external reference directly within the current drawing. So we have this XREF in our drawing, but it's currently a different drawing in another place in your computer. So if I edit reference in place and select it, it's going to bring up all your different XREFs if you have multiples within this drawing, but for right now we only have one. And you're going to select the one you want to edit, and you're going to click OK. Usually you don't have to change any of these settings over here. It's just going to automatically select all the objects. And so once you select your reference that you want to edit in the place, instead of opening up the other file making changes, you're going to click OK. And then it's going to bring you like this little option here. It's going to say XREFs may have changed, it must be reloaded. It's going to just give you the little command what you need to do in order to reload it. So you're just going to press OK. And so now you see how it went from that dull locked colors now to the vibrant. So technically now we are in our actual file, the homework number 6 example file. We opened it up and we're editing it in place. Okay, so now if I delete something, it's going to affect it within your XREF. Okay, so I'm just going to undo that so I can show you. If you open a reference, that's going to allow you to open it within the AutoCAD over here. It's going to open up the new drawing. So if you select it and you open it, you see up here it opened it in a new file. Right now it's showing a different one. Let me just see here. Okay. So now I reloaded it because it was actually showing that square that I deleted initially, and it's not currently in this drawing, so I just reloaded it. So now it's showing the correct XREF change that was made. So if I select this again, so those two are the two ways you can edit the actual XREF. You can open it within another drawing in AutoCAD, or you can actually edit it in place. I would typically recommend opening the reference, that way you can bounce back from the two drawings just to keep it a little bit more clean and precise in terms of your workflow, and not get confused of what you changed or what you didn't change if you edit it in place. Now the next tab up here is clipping. That's basically creating a clipping boundary. It allows you to delete the old clipping boundaries or create new ones to see what you want, or to actually show what you want to show within your XREF. So I'm going to create a clipping boundary, and it's going to bring up these several options. It's going to ask you to select a polyline, create a polygonal clipping plane, a rectangular clipping plane, or invert a clip, which is basically to mirror one. But it also shows up down here, so you can select a polyline, do a polygonal, rectangular, invert clip. Right now it's selected as the basics or default is rectangular, so I'm just going to keep it at rectangular. And now down here you can see it's going to specify first corner. So let's say I only want to show this inner polygon that we made, and I don't want to show anything else. So we are in the rectangular clipping plane, and I'm just going to create a rectangle or a box around this one shape that I only want to be shown. And you can see now that it basically cut out the rest of the XREF within our drawing, and it's only showing whatever we chose within our clipping plane. And these vertices over here, these endpoints on the box, are the ones that control the clipping plane. So you can see here, if I want to show a little bit more, you can just adjust those like that. Now if you want to remove the clipping plane, you can just go up here and it removes it, and then you can see it goes back to the original XREF. And then up here, the options will just bring up that external reference window again. And then over here down at the bottom, it can give you details, more details than the ones up here. It's going to give you your reference, the status, size, type, date, the same thing as up here, but then it also gives you the found at, wherever that file is founded, and the actual saved path that it has, and So this is just a useful tool in case you do lose track of this file, and let's say you once had it in this path and it actually gets deleted and you don't know where it is again. You can go back and see where you originally had it by following these little steps in your actual windows on your computer. So that's basically the rundown for XREFs. So remember, it's just an attachment. It's like a reference file that you want to bring in order to use for your own drawing. So it's like a base, and let's say I want to just build off of this here. I'm just going to create a bunch of lines. So like I have my actual lines here, but then the XREF serves as just the background or the base to what I want to do. It's useful more for floor plans, engineering drawings, when they're doing site plans, mechanical drawings. That way you can have multiple XREFs layered on top of each other, and that way it doesn't get confusing. So you can have an XREF for mechanical drawings, you can have XREFs for your plumbing drawings. That way they're each on their own different layer, and it just keeps your drawing more clean and organized. So if I select all of this, you'll see in your properties that it's going to give you 2 up here. And if you don't have this, you can type in properties and it'll bring it up as a window. And then it'll show you the external reference in your actual polyline. So then I'll just delete that. And now I'll go into blocks. Blocks is similar to XREFs in the fact where you can create a block using a drawing object. So let's say we want to make a chair. You can actually draw a chair and then group it all together and make one block. And so that way it's easier, so you can copy it within different drawings. So a block is an object type that is made up of one or more drawing objects. When objects are contained within a block, they are easily inserted into any drawing to avoid duplicated work in assembling the various objects making up that block. So let's say I want to create a chair. I'm just going to, no units, I'm just going to make a quick chair. So I'm using one line there, one line, and one line. So let's say this is like the elevation of a chair. It's 3 different lines. If I select all of them, here in your ribbon here you can actually create, edit blocks. So under the block tab, it's going to give you all these different options where you can create a block, insert blocks from other drawings into your current one, but I'm going to create one since I'm making this one chair. So I select all of them, hit create. And now with all those things selected, it's going to give you the little preview of what you selected. If I had more lines over here, it's going to show those as well. But now it's going to give you the option to create your block. I'm just going to name this chair. And then base point, you can specify on the screen similar to your XREFs, or you can, when you automatically open an other AutoCAD file and you want to include or attach this chair, it's going to automatically go to the coordinates that you set here, or you can pick a point on a drawing, but I'm just going to hit specify on screen, so that way I can show you that you can just have more control over it with your mouse or your cursor. Objects, I selected those already on the screen, like I selected them and then created or hit create. If I didn't do that, I could have just went to create, go here, name your chair, and then actually specified all the objects on the screen. I could have selected the objects. So I would just click this button, select the objects over here, and then it would pop back up this little window here. And then behavior annotative, that just means that the block is going to go to a specific scale for each drawing. Scale uniformly, you can actually do that, but then you don't really need to use these much. Just make sure that your block unit is correct if you do want to have it in units or feet, whatever you're making it. But for right now, since my drawing is in units, it's in inches. Right here, my block unit is in inches. So once I have the name, the base point, I'm going to click OK. And then before you click or get out of this, you can see that says specify your insertion base point. So that means that is the base point of your block, and you're going to be able to move or affect where it is inserted based on that one point. So let's say I want to make the base point of this chair this one leg down here. So I'm going to click that, and now I'm completely out of the block command. There's no command down here. Once I selected that insertion base point, that's it, you're out of your block command. So if I select this now, it's no longer 3 individual lines, it's one whole block, and my insertion point is right here. So if I go into another AutoCAD drawing and create or insert this block, it's going to base your insertion point off of this base point. So here I can move it. You can also select it and actually type in move or copy and stuff, but that's just giving you that one endpoint to base any copy, move commands, any command that you give it, it's going to base it off this one base point. Okay? So now I saved my file to a homework 7 example. That way now this block can be used in other drawings that you have open, other AutoCAD files. If you open them into AutoCAD, you can use this block and open it in those files, and it's easier than just, you know, selecting it, Control C by copying it, going into here, placing it. It just, that becomes a little bit of a hassle as well, and it might not come up as clean or easy, especially if you have a larger, more populated drawing like an architectural site plan or an engineering plan with all their mechanical equipment and stuff like that. It's easier to just, and it's just a better way of controlling your drawing if you insert using this little tab up here. So now that we created this chair block, I'm going to open up the homework 6 example, and I'm just going to insert it into this AutoCAD file. So I'm going to go to the block tab up here in the ribbon, go to insert, and it already shows you a bunch of different default blocks that AutoCAD gives you. It's usually just arrows, oblique lines, you know, an architectural tick, the ones from your dimension strings. So all those are considered blocks, and you can see here that the chair pops up. If it doesn't pop up, that means that it's just not copied in there. Maybe it pops up here because I actually physically copied it in. But what you can do is go to Insert and then go to Recent Blocks, and then it'll show up here your little chair that you made because you recently did it in your other drawing. So in your recent, it'll show you the little chair. If not, you can, if you want to open up a different block from another drawing, maybe it's a drawing that you save from another client and they give you a AutoCAD drawing and you want to insert a block that they have in there, you can press the little 3 dots over here, and it's just going to open up your window again where you can search for that drawing, select it, open it up, and then you can use the blocks from that drawing and it'll pop up in your recent blocks window. So let me insert that one chair. So I just go, if it's not here, then you can go to recent blocks, and what I just did here, select it, and you can even just drag it. And now that block is within this drawing, the one that we created in this one. So that is basically blocks. It's similar to XREFs, but in terms of creating different objects that are more complicated and that have different lines. You can make little individual blocks, furniture, mechanical units, all the surveyor, tick marks, contour lines, numbers, text. You can make all of those into blocks and use them to copy and paste them into other drawings. Another useful tool for this block is if you select it and you want to actually edit the lines that I made instead of exploding it, because if you do explode it, let me just show you here. I'm just going to copy it. If you explode this, it brings it back to the original 3 lines that I created, and it's no longer a block, it's just 3 individual lines. So let's say you want to maintain it as a block, but edit it and maybe make it a lower chair. What you would do is go to Edit in your block tab in the ribbon, and then it's going to ask you to select the block that you want to change. So if you have multiple blocks, you're going to come up here and you're going to select the one you want, which is chair. Click OK, and it's going to bring up this other sort of like AutoCAD drawing within the AutoCAD drawing. So let me just move this. So here we're still in homework number 7 example, that original drawing, but within a new tab in the file. So we're in the block editor, and it gives you all of these different options. And basically it's going to allow you to change the dimensions of the chair, edit it the way you want it to look. You can add lines if you go back to your home tab and actually make, let's say I want to make a little armrest, an elevation. You can add lines, you can add arcs, circles, like anything to this block, but we're basically editing it. So then here on the side, I'll walk you through here. You can edit the block, that's what we're doing. Saving the block, so self-explanatory, you would save everything that you make. Testing it means it would just open a window to test the block within the drawing. And then this here is basically all the geometric functions that you can put into your blocks. These would get a little bit more complicated, but it would be helpful for blocks that are more parametrically constrained. Like if you create a parametric block, let's say with a dimension that you want to change, and every time you actually changed it in your original drawing, it would give you that that new function. So it's just a parametrically editable block, and that would be found over here in your parameters manager, but that gets a little bit complicated. I just want to show you the basics of it. So this is the new window, the block editor window. So once we make all of those changes, we added a little armrest, or a little, this could even be seen as the thickness of the cushion with a circle at the top. And so once you're done editing your chair or your block, you can close out of it, and it's going to ask you that you didn't save it, so it's going to ask you if you want to save the changes to the chair or actually discard them completely and close the block editor, and it's going to basically not include any of the changes we just made. But since I want to show it, I'm just going to click Save the Changes. And so now we're out of the block editor, we're back into our original drawing, and it made all those changes to the chair. So that's basically all of the basics of XREFs and blocks. I hope this made sense. If you guys do have any questions about blocks in general or XREFs in general, or you want me to go more into depth of how they work, let me know and I can meet with you guys or set up another video to explain a little bit more the details behind it. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be posting the homework assignment for this week in the upcoming days. It's going to be just creating a floor plan of a simple floor plan of an architectural room and creating some blocks, some furniture blocks, and placing them within the plan. So I'll be posting more videos for that one, but also the instructions sheet to go along with it. So let me know if you have any questions on blocks and XREFs in general, and I'll be happy to meet with you guys. So look for those next videos in the homework assignment in Blackboard, and I'll be posting those shortly. Thanks.